Hello, welcome back to the Cricket Nerds. It's me and Benji today, and we've got a lot to talk about. It's been a few days since our last podcast. Thank you so much for the support in the channel recently. It's been brilliant to see it grow. We're storming towards our target of 1,000 subscribers. So if you can help us out, that'd be amazing. So today we're going to be talking, first of all, about the India versus New Zealand ODI series, the final game of which just finished and was, pretty resounding victory for India. So we'll talk about that. We're also going to we're going to preview the England versus South Africa ODI series. I believe that starts on Friday. Then we'll chat a little bit about the women's IPL because that's starting up and women's cricket is just growing. We'll talk a little bit about some BBL stuff, particularly Smudger and how he's just suddenly just become this different player. And then we'll do some CNQs. So just a quick reminder, if you want to have your Cricket Nerds question answered in the next episode, leave it down below in the comments with the hashtag CNQ, or you can send it to us on Twitter or Instagram, something like that. Just let us know what your Cricket Nerds question is, and we will answer it in the next episode. So, Benji, first things first. India versus New Zealand. The series has finished.
Yes.
It was a 3-match series, and India. The first game was really close. That was the one where, what's his face, Michael Bracewell.
Mike Bracewell
had these incredible knock after Shubman Gill hit his double ton.
Mm-hmm.
Then the second ODI, New Zealand got absolutely clapped, all out for 108, and India skittled them off. Shubman Gill, red ink. You're noticing a theme here. And then the final ODI, India bat first, just to show what they're made of. And Shubman Gill gets 112 at a strike rate of 143.
Yeah.
The guy...
I mean, it's mental.
Oh, it's absolutely unbelievable. So what have you thought of Shubman Gill over... because it's immediately after was it Sri Lanka they played?
Yeah.
So it's immediately after that series in which he did very well. What do you think of his recent form and just his kind of ODI prospects?
It's incredible. He's just such a talented individual, and the way that he strikes the cricket ball is majestic. I think that he's the next big thing, and I think he's been tipped by a lot of cricket commentators that he's going to be huge. I think we're seeing another superstar who's going to be playing for India for a very long time. They call Kohli the king. Well, Shubman Gill's definitely the prince. Prince Gill, that's where we are. He's just got so much talent, and this ODI series he's really come to the fore. And 360 runs over 3 matches. I mean, he's averaging 180. 180 because he was only out twice. Yeah. That's it. But even if, per game, he's still scoring 120 a game, regardless of being out. That's ridiculous over the 3 ODIs. Rohit as well came out and, cemented himself as the other top order. We've talked a bit about, is the Rohit reign over? I don't think it is, especially not for ODIs. I think he's still such a class act in that situation. And
I still think Rohit opens for India in ODIs and tests. I question whether he should still be captain, but either way, they are cemented.
But Shubman Gill has showed that he deserves that opening spot as well. I think there's been talk about should Ishan Kishan take that spot. No, I think he silenced the crowd. He's just so talented. Virat Kohli has in an interview talked about how excited he is at Shupman Gill. When Shupman Gill was 19, playing in the Under-19s World Cup, he was saying that Kohli says, I didn't even have half his talent when I was 19. Like, it's just incredible. Like that, and that's coming from Virat Kohli. Like, that is some high praise. And that platform just allowed the rest of the Indian team to come out and swing. Like the fact that Gill and Sharma put on such a show with their first wicket. I think it was a over 200 partnership that they put on for the first wicket. The fact that happened, it just meant that Kohli, Sky, Hardik could all come out and strike in the, way over 130. Charlotte Kerr as well played a handy little knock of 25 at the end. I think it just allowed them to play with freedom, and I think India are cementing themselves as a powerhouse of home ODI World Cup coming at the end of the year. I think they're cementing themselves as the favourites for that World Cup, and I just felt a bit sorry for the New Zealand bowlers, like Jacob Duffy. 3 for 100 he went for in an ODI. Like, that's not the numbers that you want. Like, you want to be going at 4s and 5s and over, not 10s and over. Like, that's some serious hitting off the back of him. So yeah, I felt a bit bad for the Kiwi bowlers today.
Yeah, but yeah, no one wants a Gallon. It is rough.
Exactly. They just dominated though, didn't they? I mean, and then the bowling too. Like, they came out and managed to bowl New Zealand out in 41 overs. Like, it was just a complete performance.
Yeah, I think somebody that hasn't quite done what people hoped they would is Washington Sundar. He hasn't really been that potent with the bowling, which is a shame. And he also hasn't been that economical, which I feel like is where he he made his name initially as just Mr. Economy. I remember the first IPL that I really noticed him was for RCB, and he wasn't going for any runs. And yeah, he's kind of lost that ability now, particularly in the ODIs. He's just gone off the boil. So I feel like he definitely makes way in that side to somebody like Axar Patel or Ravi Ashwin. But yeah, like the spin twins of Kuldeep Yadav and Yuzvendra Chahal are so potent.
Yeah,
like, you can toss them a ball and they will most likely take you a wicket. I'd say of those two, Kuldeep Yadav is in the better form. And he's hitting such beautiful areas with his bowling that you really can't keep him out of the game. And
I'm really glad that he's back in the India side as well, because he was a mainstay for a good few years in Test and ODIs, and a bit in T20. But like, he has had that time out with Jadeja being preferred over him, because Jadeja takes the all-rounder slot, which means then that, like, if they want Ashwin or someone else in there as well, Kuldeep a lot of the time has dropped off. But yeah, I'm pleased to see him back in that area. I think he's more potent as an ODI bowler. Like, he's good in franchise T20s, but as a T20 spinner internationally, I don't see him in as high regard. But I think it's good to see him back in the ODI setup. Sorry, you were saying something else about him as well.
I mean, yeah, I just agree with what you're saying, actually. I think all formats he's shown himself to be really good, but potentially ODI is where he shines the most, just because he can really get into his rhythm. And the lengths he bowls tend to be, when he's on song, they're really good lengths. Yeah. And then because he gets so much turn, like either way, then it means that if he really settles into his rhythm, the batsman can't. So that's been really good. I thought Surya Kumar Yadav once again has had a bit of a naff ODI series. He still hasn't really shown what he can do. I understand that he has this potential to do great things in ODIs, and I really want him to, but he still hasn't shown what he can do, really. And at the moment, if I was picking the India World Cup squad tomorrow, Surya Kumar Yadav would not feature for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think him and Ishan Kishan potentially a bit interchangeable, and I would have Kishan over him.
I think it's a real shame. Sorry, carry on.
No, you go.
I would say I think it's a real shame about Sky, because in the first ODI we talked about it, because we noted that India had continued. Oh no, maybe they hadn't in the first ODI. It was in their last series they were carrying on with Shreyas Iyer over Suryakumar Yadav, and it was only in this series that I think they brought Sky in as a as a starting player. I think Sky is a little bit still potentially in T20 mode, where he's just coming out and almost not valuing his wicket. Sorry, it was Sri Lanka where they stuck with Shreyas Iyer over Suryakumar. Well, they had Shreyas Iyer. Anyway, I'm waffling. But I think having Sky in there, he's I think still trying to hit like he's playing a T20. Like, he's had one of the most fantastic years in T20 cricket. It's really like blasted him off on a high trajectory to greatness this year. Couldn't get that word out. But yeah, as you say, he's not in that ODI mindset. He's striking at 150, but like, you don't need that, especially when you've got the base of Rohit and Shubman Gill previously. I think having them, in all the games that he's batted, he's had a good base to bat from, because the openers have done so well, which means that he can just tee off and play that T20 cricket. And actually, that's probably the role that he needs to do with this team. I just think we haven't seen him put together a big innings yet. Not to say he's not capable, I don't think.
No, I think the only difference is that he just needs to give himself a few, like, his time at the crease, because he's not, he's used to just capitalizing on each delivery, and you don't really need to. Like, strike rate of about 130, 140 in ODIs, depending on the track, obviously, is very good, and that's all he needs to do. Like, if he sets himself the platform of facing 40 balls and having hit maybe 45, 50 runs off them, like he could very easily do, he's then seeing it large, and he can start dispatching it anywhere. But it's just about setting himself. And we say all this, next ODI he plays, he'll probably hit 100 off 20 balls. But
probably, yeah.
I think that's the only difference, is you can afford to let yourself set that platform. And that's why this format suits people like Kohli and Gill so much, because they're players that like to set that platform first, and then they can accelerate. So we'll move on. We'll talk about England versus South Africa, and how we think that's going to go. Because the nice thing about ODI cricket this year is it's got a bit of context behind it. We're always looking forward to the T20 World Cup in India. That's why India doing so well is horrible news for everybody that isn't an India fan. Great news if you're from India, and if you are, you should subscribe. If you're not, you should also subscribe, but be afraid, because India are now the top ranked team. So, looking at England versus South Africa, England, I'd say, come into this potentially as favourites. But it'll be interesting to see. How do you see England versus South Africa, the first ODI, going?
The only reservation I have is that England have had such a bad run of ODIs recently. Aside from the Netherlands series, which, let's not count that. No disrespect to the Netherlands, but they're just not up to the scratch of the other international teams. I think that has been a little bit because England haven't got the ability to focus on more than one thing at a time. So it was the T20 World Cup, and now it's the ODI World Cup. And in the middle of that, they've been focusing on baseball as well. The 14-man squad that England have named, I'm not mad about. I think there's some fantastic players in there. Particularly the return of Jofra Archer, really exciting. I am wondering who the opening partnership is going to be, because there's Jason Roy, which I'd expect would be in there, and then for me it would always be Johnny Bairstow who'd be that second opener. Looking at the team, my money is going to be on Ben Duckett as the opening partner for Jason Roy, but it'll be between him and Phil Salt, and then I can see David Milan and Josh Butler rounding out the rest of that top four. And then we've got a middle order of Harry Brook, Moeen, that type of thing. It's interesting with England because obviously there's no Ben Stokes there. He's retired from ODIs, and England have chosen to rest Joe Root. I think he's gone home for a bit. He's left the ILT. He's now gone home, and I think he's going to spend a bit of time in England before he then flies back out to New Zealand for the Test series. Is it New Zealand for the Test series there in February? I like the squad that England have named, though. I think it's a good all-round squad. And as I say, I think England are slight favourites. I am just a bit worried about the form that England have been through. But look, on paper, it's a fantastic squad. I mean, what do you think about sort of the quality of that squad?
Yeah, it is great. And a lot of the players have been in pretty good form going into it, playing in either the South Africa T20 or the the IL T20. One person that has not been in good form for quite a while now is Jason Roy.
Yeah.
I can't remember a slump quite like his. He is in some of the worst form over an extended period of time that I think I've ever seen. And it's really quite difficult to watch. For that reason, I would not open with Jason Roy in the first ODI.
I think he will, though.
Yeah, but what I think is the strongest 11 is David Milan and Phil Salt opening.
Yeah.
I'd have Ben Duckett at 1 down, Josh Butler at 4, Harry Brook 5, Moeen 6, Sam Curran 7, Chris Wokes 8, Jofra Archer 9, Adil Rashid 10, and Reese Topley or Ollie Stone at 11. And I think that there is an incredibly good squad, very balanced, and all the players are in pretty good form. I mean, David Milan hasn't been in great form in the ILT20, but I feel like ODI is just where I feel like that's the format that should suit him best, because he tends to be quite slow in T20s, but he can accelerate. And he doesn't really have the discipline for test matches. So, I think ODIs I think he should have played more in his career.
I think it's ridiculous that we still have David Milan as a really slow player in T20 when he's still England's highest ranked batter in the ICC world rankings. He's above Josh Butler in that.
Yeah, but we all know those world rankings mean absolutely squat. They're stupid. But his career, his strike rate in ODIs is 95. His strike rate in T20Is is 135. So goes from ordinary in T20s to pretty decent in ODIs. But looking at the South Africa squad, there are some real match winners there, and some of them are in brilliant form. Particularly Aidan Markram, who I'm terrified of, and Heinrich Klaassen, who has been outstanding. Both of them, I believe, Sunrisers in the IPL as well. And also, you can't ever discount Rassie van der Dussen when it comes to ODIs. The guy is one of the greatest in the world at ODIs. Quite underrated as well, I feel. But, he averages 69 after playing 38 of them at just under 90 strike rate. So you can't write him off. So I think it's going to be a very difficult one, but very excited to do it. And I think we'll definitely cover it going forward, won't we?
Yeah, for sure.
But what's your prediction? First match?
I think it's going to be... It's 3 matches, isn't it? I think it's going to be England 2-1, but England will lose the first ODI and bounce back.
I think that's a it's not a bad shout. I think if England bat first, we could see a decent go of it. I think if England bats second, we could see a collapse. That's where my mind's going. But we'll see. Right. Women's IPL.
Yes.
A competition that we haven't seen before, because it's always been they call it a T20 challenge or something.
Yeah.
3 different teams that have like velocity and happiness and joy or something like that. It's naff, really naff. Not well done. Women's IPL, on the other hand, is going to be brilliant, because the world is starting to realize that women are good cricketers.
Yes.
If you give them the chance to be good cricketers and to play cricket. The 100 did really well for the women's game. Australia has done really well for the women's game, the Women's Big Bash, and just the women's international team. And there are some absolute superstars rising. Now, the women's IPL, I believe, will have 5 franchises to begin with for the first year, and 17 different, organizations.
Yeah.
Have registered or have submitted technical bids. So those 17 have said, right, we are actually going to go for it, try and buy one of these 5 spots. Of those 17, 10 are just kind of randomers, and then 7 are IPL franchises. Those franchises include Mumbai Indians, Delhi Capitals, Kolkata Knight Riders, Punjab Kings, Rajasthan Royals, Sunrisers Hyderabad, and Royal Challengers Bangalore. So notably, no Gujarat, Lucknow, or Chennai.
Yes, it's all the franchises apart from the 2 new franchises in Chennai, which reflects badly on Chennai. Just going to put that out there.
Yeah, I think it's quite sad. I know the England player Kate Cross. She has been very vocal in the past about being a Chennai supporter. So the fact that she can't play for Chennai, I think she was pretty gutted about.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be really interesting to see. Obviously, as a Punjab Kings fan, I would love to be able to cheer on Punjab Queens. And I think if Punjab got a team, it would probably be based in Dharamsala, which is kind of north, the Punjab ends.
Yeah.
But obviously, Chennai have a spot. Bengaluru, Ahmedabad, Kolkata, there are some brilliant stadiums, and hopefully it's going to be good fun. And I think we're all excited to see it. As England fans, we want to see some good England women's matches. Who are you most excited to see to get picked up of the England women?
I would love Izzy Wong to get a spot, friend of the show. But also,
one day.
Fingers crossed. But also,
I don't know. She's a friend of the show yet, but she will.
Yeah, she will be. But I also think, Sophie Eccleston must be in the running. She's the world's best spinner. And then, Nat Skiver, she's a great cricketer all round as well. So I think there could be some big purchases there. I think the Aussies, though, are going to clean house just because they are the best cricketers in the world in that women's game.
I think you're absolutely right. So, looking forward to the women's IPL. We will keep you posted on what's going on with that, because we are genuinely quite excited for it.
Indeed.
Right. What on earth is Steve Smith smoking? Because he has suddenly transformed into this incredible T20 player. And I don't get it.
I don't understand it, and it goes beyond belief. But I mean, the thing is with T20 cricket is that if you're a top level test match cricketer, you're going to be able to perform in T20 as well. I think having these boxes of people who can only play test cricket is a thing of the past. If you were to say Ollie Pope, you say, Ollie Pope, he's a test match player. But actually, if you look at his stats in the domestic stuff, he's really good.
But if you look at Steve Smith's stats in the domestic stuff throughout his whole career, right, the bloke has played 239 T20 matches in his career. He's 33 now, nearly 34. He averaged 31, which you'd expect because he's a good batsman, at a strike rate of 127. Okay. In internationals, he's got a strike rate of 125. Typically, within stats of cricket, we do not see players transform the way they play this late into a career. Now, obviously, this will just be like a bit of an outlier. We've only got a sample size of about 3 matches where he's just tonked it. But he hit back-to-back centuries that were fast centuries as well. And then, like the other day, he hit 66 off 33. And he went out to a full toss. So
it's just players of that caliber, like Steve Smith is up there with some of the best in the world. Like players of that caliber, it's just they just have it. You look at Marnus for Brisbane Heat, like they're all just fantastic players. Great technique. Maybe not Steve Smith. Great technique. He has a technique that's interesting, but yeah, it's incredible stuff to see him hit that well, and he's doing a great thing for the Sydney Sixers, and I'm cheering them on to get to that final.
Yep. Right, we're gonna race through some CNQs now. First couple we've got are from Ever Sunny Guy, who has said, right, first one, India is outstanding in bilateral series, but why are they failing in World Cup matches? India is very close to South Africa in the list of chokers. Do you think Bumrah and Siraj, as in their promising talent as pacers, can change that in this World Cup? What else should they do? I think this ODI World Cup is probably the best chance they've got in recent times. The amount of talent that they've got, the squad that they're starting to settle on, I think they're doing the right things and experimenting with different people, getting Sky in, getting Ishan Kishan, getting Shreyas, kind of figuring out that middle order and then playing around the pace attack. I think they're doing the right thing. They have choked when it counts. That you can't deny that. But I think going forward, they could do all right. And then going forward into this World Cup, they've just got the best chance of any team, I think. So hopefully they don't choke. But yeah, you're right. They absolutely do have a history of it. Right, Benji, next question's for you. It doesn't say that. I'm just giving it to you.
Okay.
Right. Given the Rohit form, Ever Sunny Guy thinks that... Oh, he did say this 5 days ago, so you got to forgive him. I think he means the Rohit form in a negative sense.
Okay.
I think Sky should open with Gill to take advantage of the power play. Your thoughts? So what do you think of that? Maybe dropping Sky down to... dropping Rohit down to 3 or something, and opening with Shubman Gill and Surya Kumar Yadav.
We've talked about this. I think Sky's got a bit of growing to do to become a ODI powerhouse cricketer. I think as we've talked about it, Rohit is still the nailed-on opener with Shubman Gill. I think he just has that air of dominance and that control. If Rohit doesn't open, where does he bat? Like, there's not really another spot for him. So yeah, I disagree with that. I think that that top 4 anyway, with Rohit, Gill, Kohli, and then the wicket keeper, preferably Rishabh Pant, but the poor guy won't be fit in time.
More likely Ishan Kishan.
I think that'll be nailed on. And actually, I prefer Ishan Kishan over Rahul. That's just my opinion on that. But I think that's fairly nailed on. I think Sky is good in that number 5 spot in ODI. And again, yeah, it is between him and Shreyas Iyer. And I think that will come down to a form thing. But I think having that cover there is really good. I do see the point, though, that Sky could come out and just smash it for a few balls in the power play and try and get India off to a great start. But I don't think India need to force it almost, because they're good enough already. Like, they've put on 2 over 350 scores batting first in India, which is where the World Cup's going to be. So, like, I don't think they need to change anything from that. And this is against New Zealand, who have been one of the better ODI teams of late. So,
yeah, I agree. And I think the kind of era of pinch hitters has kind of passed. Like you kind of look for high strike rate anchors, which aren't always a thing, but like a Joss Butler, for example, or even like Phil Salt, just people that kind of try to take the advantage of the power play, but they don't just swing for the hills. So I think it wouldn't not work, and any other team would be happy to have Surya Kumar Yadav in the side. But yeah, I don't know how I feel about him batting as an opener. Right, next question from Owen T. He says, please will you do some tributes to outstanding cricketers of yesteryear? I'd like to hear your take on Sachin, Kapil Dev, Gary Sobers, Jacques Kallis, Andy Flower, etc. Yeah, we'll probably do some videos like that. We'll probably chat about best team of all time, things like that.
I mean, he's also forgotten, Brian Lara, Viv Richards, Don Bradman. So like,
it wasn't an exhaustive list.
Well, there are some legends there that need to be talked about. But yeah.
Next one we've got is from a legend of the game, PD. He said, based on the current England men's schedule, there are 2 matches against the Kiwis, 1 against Ireland, and 5 against the Aussies. I think that's talking about test matches.
Yes, it is.
Do you think that Jimmy Anderson can take 25 wickets within those stipulated matches to get to the landmark of 700 test wickets before he retires? Well, considering
who says Jimmy's retiring at the end of this summer?
Yeah, considering that Jimmy Anderson is not going to retire until he's 94, I think there's a very high chance that he is going to take, like, he'll be chucking absolute grenades down off 3 paces before he retires. The guy is too good. I think he'll reach 700 test wickets. I don't see any reason why not. And I think especially, I don't think it'll take that long. Maybe, well, yeah, I think between, 2 matches of the Kiwis, he'd probably play both. 1 against Ireland, yeah, that's a bit after. And then, obviously the Ashes, he might not play in all of the matches. I wouldn't expect him to.
Yeah.
But there'll be a couple of 5-wicket hauls somewhere this year. And it'll be Anderson. So yeah, I think it could happen. And I'm just excited to see it.
Yeah, I'd love for him to get to that landmark, because I think he just cemented himself, hasn't he, as England's best ever bowler, and probably the best ever seam bowler that's played the game in Test cricket. There are lots of other people to talk about it, but in the modern era as well, where cricket is now such a batter's game, I mean,
not in Test cricket, to be fair.
It's a batter's game in Test cricket as well. But yeah, he's phenomenal, isn't he? I am looking forward to the tests in New Zealand, but I don't think they're going to be part of the World Test Championship, which is a bit odd.
They're not? Oh. Well, if you know for certain, then let us know in the comments.
But yeah.
And with anything else, just give us your opinion down in the comments. We love the conversation. I think somebody left a really good comment. I can't remember who it is now. But someone gave some really good analysis. So yeah, just leave it down below, because we do really enjoy reading the comments. Leave your Cricket Nerds questions. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We do really appreciate the support on the channel. This has been a really long episode. So if you've stuck around this long, you're a legend of the game, because you are a legend for just listening to us waffle for ages. Follow our social medias. It is in the link under the link tree in the description.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's all we've got. So we'll see you guys soon. Thank you and goodbye.